Hey everyone, my name is Ksenia and today my guest here is the Queen Bee, Brooke Valentine.
Hello, hello.
So happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here, seriously, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So half of the reason that made me think of this question was a conversation that I overheard recently, where people were implying that there's almost like a certain standard for a woman to be hired by WWE. And they were talking about Abaddon, again, of all people, and they were like, oh, she's so cool, but she would like never be hired by WWE because she's like not glamorous enough.
Yes.
Do you personally feel like there's a certain standard of being glamorous and conventionally attractive to be hired by WWE?
I would say
I
feel like they unfortunately have their idea of what a superstar looks like, a female superstar. And Abaddon, as cool as she is, she doesn't fit their standards. She's so freaking cool. Like, I mean, if I had money, I would hire her in an instant.
Yeah.
But they have their idea, their very outdated idea of what a female athlete should look like, or does look like, and that's their problem, I guess. They're missing out on a lot of talent.
I mean, it could be their problem, but the actual problem is that they're dictating those in the industry.
Yeah, and that's what problem we run into, is that they set the industry standard. Everybody looks to what WWE is doing, I feel like. So when they see only women with six packs and giant muscles, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the only way athletes look. You look at all the athletes at the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
There was this amazing post I saw where they showed all these different gold medal athletes in their separate sports with completely different bodies. Some were tall and lean, some were short and had giant muscles, and some were that looked like me with big bellies and also really big arms. Like, it's that once you break through that barrier of thinking that all athletes have to have six packs and giant muscles, I think we can finally move past this whole everyone has to look the same like a bodybuilder thing that's going on right now.
Yeah, but especially recently, I feel like the wrestling scene has been becoming more diverse.
Yes.
And partially because of the rise of AEW, of GCW too, and you from inside the industry, do you feel like WWE doesn't exude this much of pressure anymore?
I feel like there's a lot of people that are trying to actively fight against it now, as opposed to even just a few years ago. And I think we're making progress. Slowly but surely, the indies are coming around.
And now let's get a little more personal. Would you personally like to be hired by WWE eventually?
No.
No?
No.
Tell us why. Do tell.
I mean, first of all, like, I feel like hearing people's recounts of their tales from their time there and all the pressure they felt to change their bodies. I have a history of eating disorder, body dysmorphia. Every wrestler really has body dysmorphia if you think about it.
Or every athlete. Really.
Yeah, literally. So I just don't think it'd be a healthy environment for me. Would it be amazing to have a WrestleMania moment? Yes. Yes, everybody dreams of the WrestleMania moment. Do I think that it's something I would want to work towards through that company? Probably not. Probably not.
Okay, that's very logical.
I've thought about this, I really have.
So we've talked about the beauty standards a little bit, but another thing about you is that you're openly LGBTQ+, you're a woman in the industry, and you've been pretty open about that on the internet, on social media, and do you feel like that openness has helped you in the industry, or has it been more of a hindrance?
I think it's helped me just in the way that I'm more my authentic self. I'm able to make better connections with people because I know who I am. I'm not hiding it. I'm not actively trying to like hide it away. But I've also made amazing friends just being open to that community and like being welcomed in by that community. I've made some of the best friends I'll probably have for the rest of my life just because of it.
So nice.
It's really nice.
That's really nice to hear, actually. And one of the problems that I've heard LGBTQ+ talent talk about is that sometimes when you come out, it like changes the way that you're perceived in the industry, and even promoters like, maybe not intentionally even, but like tie you to solely price shows and book you based on that. Have you experienced that?
I don't think yet. Yeah, I say yes, it's gonna happen, unfortunately, I'm sure. But I was talking to Ashton Starr, and he was talking about how he ran into this promoter that would only book him against women. And he's like, yes, I'm gay, but I want to just wrestle anybody. I don't just have to wrestle women. So hearing stories like that, it just proves that we still have a long ways to go.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. This year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Talking about GCW, you were in GCW.
Yes.
You were in Fight Forever.
Yeah.
Which is really great.
It was really cool.
However, I'm gonna ask an unpleasant question.
Okay.
So, I love GCW again, for the record. I really love GCW. But one thing that you can't help but notice is that their men to women ratio on the card is very, very off.
Yes.
And even the women that they do consistently book get booked against men, which again, I love intergender wrestling, but it just really shows that there aren't many women on there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? And do you feel like a promotion in the 21st century can afford to do that?
Yes. No, wait, sorry. They can afford to book more women. They cannot afford to not book more women.
Yeah.
I think I love GCW. I'm very thankful for the opportunities that I've gotten to work for them, but I'm very open in my criticism of how they book their Black talent, how they book their queer talent, how they book their women. I think it's great that we have these auxiliary shows where we get to all come together and like showcase this is how much amazing Black talent there is in the scene. This is how much amazing LGBTQ people are on the scene, you know.
Yeah.
These are all the amazing women that are on the scene, but then it never carries over, which is a little frustrating. Just for the people that I know have done amazing on these shows and had wonderful performances, breakout performances, and then it's like, all right, see you at the next gay show, see you at the next Black show, you know, like, I feel like there's just no excuse at this point for why they're not booking more any talent, really, but, you know.
Yeah. And I feel the need to mention that sometimes people, mostly on the internet, think that when you criticize something, it means automatically that you hate it,
No.
which is so not true.
No, I love GCW. Being able to perform like with the GCW logo under my feet was a dream come true. Like that has been on my list for years. But because I love it so much, I want it to be able to be better and to be more, because it can. It has the power to really shape the indies. They already have. You know, look at how prevalent deathmatch wrestling is now.
Oh yeah.
And I think that they're also actively helping push that whole everyone has to take a bodybuilder standard out of the way too. So they can do so much more. They're already doing a lot, but they can do so much more.
Yeah, and criticizing it is just a way to try and make it better and be vocal about it and try to change the world to be a better place.
That's all I want.
And also talking about women. So recently we had this segment on AEW where the best friends as a faction supposedly joined Chaos as a faction. So it was a bit of a merger. And people started speculating that, oh, like, is Chris Statlander the first woman in New Japan faction? Which, no, she's not, unfortunately. Maybe as an active wrestler, I would say. Yes, probably. But regarding New Japan, also, there's this whole conversation about how they don't need a women's industry because there's Stardom, which is, I don't think it's an equivalent of women's division in another promotion. Not sure how that works, you guys. But do you feel like the cultural differences are like reason enough and excuse enough to let them carry on with that?
I think we should always respect cultural differences when it comes from a place of like tradition or even like a religious standpoint. I think there's always some sort of respect and like, okay, I understand, but I think it's just, oh, back in the good old days, we didn't need that, so we're just gonna, you know,
carry on with that.
Yeah, carry on. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think is
Which
unfortunately
it kind of
exactly. But to them, no, we don't need the women. You know.
Yeah, and even regarding religion, like I'm not gonna sidetrack too much, but as a feminist, like the more I radicalize as a feminist, the more I'm opposed to religion.
Yes.
But we're not gonna get into it.
Best we not.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your online presence. So obviously Twitter, and I keep saying that as a wrestler you need Twitter.
You need
Twitter.
Twitter.
Live without Twitter.
You need Twitter.
But you also have an OnlyFans. And just so that we're clear, would you consider yourself a sex worker or not?
Yes, I guess. I mean, I've done like, I do customs, you know, and there's definitely some like different kinks I've done in customs. I personally don't do like nudity. That's just my personal like line that I've drawn for myself. But I guess, yeah.
Okay, that's an answer, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And recently it's been like on the rise, and a lot of wrestlers actually have OnlyFans, not just women, men too, but of course mostly women, because it's the world that we live in, it's mostly women. And a lot of wrestlers have been doing like calendars and like custom matches as a whole different genre, which I personally would not even label as wrestling, honestly. But sure. Do you feel like those things feed into the objectification of women in the industry, or how is it different to say like bras and panties matches that we had like back in the day and stuff like that?
I think Unfortunately, everyone in this business is objectified and sexualized. But I think having more control of how it's put out there, and it being your own self, I don't want to say objectified, but sexualizing yourself. It's more empowering for men and women, I assume. But personally, it's like these people were being gross to me online, but now it's me putting myself out there, making money doing it too. And it's really empowering. Like it's helped me grow my fan base too. Like I've gotten people just from OnlyFans like over to wrestling and vice versa. Like it's a great little sub community, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned like the difference between objectification and sexualization, because in one of the episodes of my High Spots show, I kind of dwell really deep into that, and there's really a big difference between someone like putting that on you and objectifying you, and you making the decision to be sexual, to express your sexuality, to be this kind of, you know.
Yeah, and I think also just being a fat woman, it's kind of even more empowering. Like I've been taught my entire life that my body is not desirable, that I need to be thin to have people want me, and now like my OnlyFans has really just been like, obviously not. It's like, obviously not. That's a lie. You do not have to be skinny to be hot. Absolutely. Being hot's a mindset. That's what I've learned this last like year and a half. It's great.
Again, it's such a positive conversation. I'm going to ask another unpleasant question. I'm like, I'm such a party pooper in all of my interviews. I'm like, people are like, this is so nice. And so I'm like, but. But yeah, anyway, with bookings, have you experienced some sort of like prejudice, maybe from promoters or even from viewers, from fans, because you have an OnlyFans? Because I've heard stories, and even I myself have experienced it, because I don't even do any of that, but people like see you posting like pictures and like swimsuits or whatever, and I had someone message me and be like, oh, I need a manager, and I'm like, cool, like who are you facing, like have you seen my work? And they're like, no, I'm just looking for a hot girl. I'm like,
okay, $1,000, you know.
So have you experienced like people treating you differently when it comes to bookings because you have an OnlyFans?
Really sunk in. Brooke Valentine, you cannot see it on the screen, but she is pointing at her OnlyFans. Her OnlyFans advertisement up on the screen right there. www.onlyfans.com/Queen Bee Brooke V. Be sure to check that out for exclusive content of the Queen.
Not outwardly, I'm sure it's happened, but no, it's never like been outwardly expressed to me. But also, if people don't want to book me because I have an OnlyFans, I don't want to work for you. You know, like I don't want your money then. If you're gonna put a stigma on it and make it a thing when it's not at all, then I don't care.
It's interesting that you say this too, because recently I saw this like tweet which from Sean Rossab that we discussed a little bit before the interview. Hi Sean, if you're watching this, that he said that I don't even need those like $10 from a shit person.
No.
Like at one point you reach this point where you're not a millionaire, obviously. It's not like you can like refuse every single booking that you'd like to. But at some point it's like I don't even need to make myself feel uncomfortable for those like 10, 20, $200.
No, like, and on my OnlyFans, if people are disrespectful or if they send me, like, someone sent me a dick pic. Sorry, can I say this word? Someone sent me a dick pic on my OnlyFans, and I said, no, disgusting, why would you do this? They said, well, it's OnlyFans. And I'm like, that doesn't mean you can send me stuff. You're subscribed to me. I sent him back his subscription, sent him his money back, and I blocked him. Like, I don't need your subscription for you to treat me like crap. It's not an open invitation to treat people like crap or to be rude or disrespectful. And I have no problem giving you back your money. I don't want it. You're gross.
I keep digressing a little bit, but it's like I just relate so much to what you're saying, because I've also been at the point in my career where I was like, oh, this person is kind of gross and this person like is disrespectful, but I'm at a point where I'm building my fan base and I cannot afford to lose another viewer. No, not true. Piece of advice, not true. If a person is gross, just block them and forget it. For every gross person that you block, there's going to be 5 wonderful, respectful people that are going to enjoy your content.
Yes, I would rather have a small following of 100 good people than a big following of like 50-50 mix. Like, I don't need gross people to like me. I don't care.
And on that wonderful note, if you you have anything to plug, you can do it right now.
Follow me, Queen B, Brooke V, on every social media platform, even OnlyFans, and Cash App, and PayPal. That's really it. That's all I got, yeah.
Awesome, thank you so much for doing this.
No, thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a like if you had a good time, subscribe, tap the notification bell to never miss an upload, and until next time, bye.